Hello everyone, welcome to this session of computer applications in finance. Today we are going to discuss a very basic concept under finance, which is time value of money. Under this concept, as you already know, we basically discuss compounding and discounting of a single cash flow. In other words, we will learn how to calculate the present value or future value of a single cash flow. Our basic discussion or our basic way of understanding any problem will be, we will look at a problem statement. After looking at the problem statement, we will extract this data and we will create a data set. And then we are going to use three different functions or three different methods to solve the same problem, just to see that how many different ways can be used to solve a single problem. So let's start our discussion. First of all, we are going to calculate the present value. Let's go through the problem statement. A single cash flow of 1,000 will be received in 5 periods. For this cash flow, the appropriate discount rate is 6% per period. So we are required to calculate the present value of this single cash flow. In other words, we are going to discount this cash flow. So let's extract this data into this data set over here, which is going to help us a lot because we are going to use mostly cell references rather than putting in the values. So over here, from the statement, this 1,000 will be received after 5 periods. So this basically represents the future value. So we will simply input this data over here, 1,000. Then present value, as you already know that we are discounting the cash flow over here. So present value is the value which we want to determine. Then comes the discount rate. Discount rate is 6%. And then number of periods, as you can also see, number of periods are 5. So we are simply going to enter 5 over here. So this is the data set which we are going to use to calculate the present value. The first method is we are going to use an Excel function to understand how to calculate the present value. The Excel function of present value is very simple. As you already know, it is a function. So we start with equal sign and then PV. Simply, we will type present value PV and then start the parentheses. When we start the parentheses, you can see that the attributes of the formula, or you can say the variables which are required for calculation, are given to us from the Excel. So we simply need to pick up these values. So you can see the first attribute is the rate. So rather than writing 6%, we are going to give the cell reference. So cell reference is C11 for the discount rate. Then come number of periods. Number of periods are 5. Again, we are not going to give the hard value. We are giving cell reference. Then come the payments. In this question, we are talking about a single payment, a single cash flow. So there are no continuous payment or no equal payments. So we are going to use 0 for that. And then comma, the future value. So the future value is given to us 1,000. Simply close the parentheses and enter. You will get the answer 747.26. This 747.26 you can see is in red and is in parentheses, which basically highlights the inflows or the outflows of the cash flow. So in this case, this is representing the outflow of cash. If you want to see this value as a positive value, so you can basically over here next to the present value, you can put a negative sign and this value will become positive. So this is the present value, the discounted value of 1,000 when the discount rate will be 6% and time period will be 5. So this is a very simple function of Excel, very easy to calculate. And you can see we are using cell references rather than putting in hard values. Now let's try to look at the second method, which is the formula method. You can see the formula of the present value is highlighted over here for your review. So let's try to put in this function over here because it is a mathematical operation, a mathematical function. So we will again start with equal sign, then the future value. So 1000 is the future value, then divided by 1 plus r raised to power. So raised to power is this sign, raised to power n, which is 5. And please don't forget to put the parentheses on the right place and then close the and then you can enter, and you will see that it is going to give you the same answer, 747.26. So this is mathematical formula. We are simply using this mathematical formula and writing it using cell references to get the same value. So this is method number 2, calculating the present value. Then let's come to method number 3, which is calculating the present value using a schedule. So let's try to prepare a schedule. I already made a small format so that we can follow this one for our next problems also. So there are 5 periods. So let's try to put in the values 0, 1, 2, and then we can click and drag to autofill. So you can see number of periods are 5. In this question, there is only one single cash flow. So you can put one single cash flow, which we are going to receive after 5 periods. This is 1000. And rather than using 1000, it's better to pick the value. And this is the same value which we want to calculate over here. The rate is 6%. So simply pick up the rate also over here. And then if you need to click and drag to autofill rest of the columns, it is better to freeze these cells. So you can click in between the cells which you want to freeze, and then press F4. You can see the dollar signs and then enter. Now you can easily click and drag for the rest of the periods. Now we want to calculate the present value of this 1000 for 5 periods. But this is a schedule. Because it is a schedule, it means we have to calculate year by year cash flow for this 1000. So in this case, we cannot put 5 over here as the time period, because we are going back one period at a time from 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 3 to 2, 2 to 1. That's why we need to put the period which is going to be equal to 1. So we can do it like this, is equal to, this is our future value. So we will pick future value and then divided by 1 plus r, this is our r, and then raised to power 1. We are typing 1 because we don't want this one to change. And then you can click. So over here, before putting enter, I would like to give one more parenthesis and then enter. So you can see that this is the value which is going to be discounted value of 1000 after one period. Now, if we look at our function is absolutely right. We don't need to fix any value, because when I click and drag to autofill to the rest of the years, I don't want R, I don't want the future value to be fixed, because I need it to move up, because next time when the present value will be calculated for year number 3, the present value will be calculated for 943 rather than 1000. So I don't want to fix this value. Also, I don't want to fix R also, because this R is constant for all the periods. So R can also remain the same. So simply click and drag to autofill rest of the years, and you can see this value is the same value, 747.26, 747.26, 747.26, which is the present value of 1000. Now this over here, we use the value, or we use the formula, mathematical formula. We can also calculate the same thing by putting in Excel function. So let's try to put in Excel function over here. So this is 1000. This is our 1000. So we need to calculate using Excel function. So Excel function is PV, start the parenthesis, pick up the rate value, then number of periods. As I already mentioned, we are moving one period back in time. So we will put 1, then comma, payments are 0, then future value. Future value is this 1000, close parenthesis and enter. You can see the same 943, but again, you can see that it is coming out to be, or it is being represented as an outflow. If you don't want to function to show you outflow or inflow, you can simply put in a negative sign in the beginning, and you can see it is now in positive. And now you can easily click and drag for the rest of the periods, and you will see that the same answer appears using an Excel function. And I am double clicking just for you to see exactly what the Excel function we are using over here. Now with this, we will now go for exercises. Some of the exercises will be shared with you so that you can easily solve them, and you can practice them for better understanding. Now let's move to the future value function. Future value, or calculating the future value, is basically almost the same thing. You can see that this problem is exactly the mirror image of what we did over here. Over here, we calculated the present value of 1000, and the answer came out to be 747. Now, if you look at this, we are going to calculate the future value of 747.26. So most expectedly, the answer which we are going to look at will be 1000. So let's try to see that our assumption is, or our the question, or how to solve the problem. Again, over here, we are going to solve using 3 methods: method 1, method 2, and method 3. So let's try to create the data set first so that we can easily use it for our cell references. A single cash flow is available now. So now means this is our present value. So let's try to put in the present value, 747.26. Then for this cash flow, the appropriate discount rate is 6%. So discount rate is 6%. What is the period 5 future value of this single cash flow? So number of periods are 5, and we simply need to calculate the future value. So we are leaving the future value cell as blank. So let's try to start, or let's try to put in the values over here. As we did previously, we will follow the same method. We will look at the Excel function first. So we want to calculate over here future value. The function is very simple. Function is, because it is an Excel function, we start with equal sign, FV, and then start parenthesis. Now you can see over here exactly the same thing. We can see all the attributes: the rate, number of periods, payments, and present value. So in this function, only the present value and future value, they are changing their places. Rest of the variables remain the same. So let's try to pick in, or let's try to give the cell references. First of all, the formula says the value or the attribute require the rate. So rate is 6%, comma, number of periods are 5, comma, payments are 0 because this is a single cash flow, comma, and then the present value, and simply close the parenthesis and enter. You can see the answer comes out to be 1000. And over here, because the present value was an inflow, the answer comes out to be as an outflow. If we want to convert this in a positive value, you can exactly do the same thing which we did previously. You can put with the future value a negative sign, so the answer can be converted into positive 1000. And if you want to reduce or remove the decimal places, you can easily do it by removing the decimal places over here, or you can press Control 1 to go to format cells, and over here you can reduce the decimal places to 0 and click OK. So decimal places will be removed. So you can see that this is the future value function using Excel. Now, the second part is how can we use the mathematical formula to calculate the same value. For mathematical formula, the formula for your help is given over here. Future value is equal to present value 1 plus r raised to power n, which means that we are compounding over here. So in order to compound anything, in order to start a mathematical operation, we start with equal sign. Is equal to start the parenthesis. So present value over here is 747 times 1 plus r raised to power n, which is 5. Again, you can see that I am not giving any kind of uh, hard values. I am only using the data set or the input data range, which is going to be very helpful for future calculations. So let's close in some parentheses so that we can easily see our calculation. You can see 1000, and if we round it off, we can round it off also, and you can see 1000. Now, if you want to change the format, you can again go to format cells. You can make it a number. You can use 1000 separator and you can click OK. Or if you want to make it a currency, you can click on currency. Dollar sign will automatically be placed. So you can see 1000 is the answer even using method number 2. And now you can see the formula. Again, I am saying this thing or highlighting that please use parentheses properly so that your answer should be, or your mathematical operators can be used by Excel, or the calculations can be done accordingly. Now let's go to method number 3. In method number 3, we are going to use a schedule to calculate this future value. So let's try to put over here years. So year 0, 1, 2. Now you can click and select and then come to this autofill cells, and you can see all the rest of the periods can be copied. Now over here, it is a single cash flow. It is a present value, and we need to calculate the future value. So this is 747 at the moment. So this is 747 at the moment. We need to calculate its future value. The rate is also given. Let's try to pick up the rate 6%. Now we need to calculate the future value. So we can start the future value mathematical function. So future value is basically the present value times 1 plus r, this is our r, raised to power n. Again, this is a schedule, so make sure you don't pick up 5 because we are moving 1 year forward. If we are moving 1 year forward, we need to put only 1 over here. You can even pick up this 1 from this, but again, then you have to freeze the cell. But it on a safer side, let's put in 1 and then we can basically click and drag for the rest of the periods. So now you can, again, let's have a look. Can we click and drag? Well, at the moment we cannot because this rate is written in one cell only. So now the rate is okay. Let's freeze it. So F4, now click and drag for the rest of the periods. You can see 6%. Now we can easily click and drag it to the rest of the periods. And you can see after 5 years, the answer comes out to be 1000. This is 1000 and this is 1000 and this is 1000. So it means that if we use method 1, method 2, method 3, our future value will be calculated nicely. And even over here, I have also created a chart for you, and you can see that chart is also representing the upward trend, which is basically highlighting the compounding of the value. Over here, as we did in the last session or the present value, let's try to put in the Excel functions using period 1. So Excel function is calculating future value. So let's pick up R. This is our R. Number of period is 1 because this is a schedule. Payments are 0. And then the present value. This is the present value. Close parenthesis. You can see the attributes now. And then enter. You can see the same answer. If you want to show it for presentation as a positive, you can also show it as a positive. Now you can click and drag to autofill for the rest of the periods. And you can see that at the end, we have 1000. Now over here, again, I am double clicking so that you can see the formula. If you want to make all these also with $sign, you can also go to format cells, right click, format cells, make them a currency, and rest everything is okay. So you can see that it is also formatted, and we can increase its size also. So you can see the formula in place. Thank you very much everyone for your time. And in the next session, we are going to look at how to calculate the present value of an annuity and how to calculate the present value of or future value of a series of payments. Thank you.